And I think there's two other names that definitely deserve to be brought up. They're being brought up in the comments. Dan mentions Jimmy Lambert and asks about him. Jimmy Lambert would like to be a starter. I think last year you saw him establish himself as an extremely valuable reliever, but the White Sox pitching staff has some really big question marks that not even they know the answer to right now in what's going on with Mike Clevinger, as well as what's going on with Liam Hendricks. So I think Jimmy Lambert could factor into both those conversations, as could Garrett Crochet, who other Sean mentions. As of last year, again, Garrett Crochet wants to be a starter. The White Sox, the message from the White Sox was that if he was going to be a reliever, and it certainly looked like he had a lot of value as a reliever for the White Sox at the time and moving forward, he could be ready sooner. Maybe he is ready for opening day if they put him in the bullpen. But if all of a sudden they need starting depth in a bad way and they want to make him a starter, it would probably be much further down the line, maybe even midway or further into the season until you'd see him ready to come back to the major leagues. But I would even look at that with some skepticism, considering this is a guy who's never pitched as a starter professionally and had the entire final season of his college starting career wiped out by COVID. So you're talking about a guy who hasn't had a starter's workload in 4 years now at this point?
Minimum.
And he probably didn't rack up a ton of innings then either. So it would probably be a pretty involved process at this point. Not saying it couldn't happen, and maybe they say, all right, we're going to sacrifice another year of Garrett Crochet on the major league roster so he can be a starting pitcher for us in 2024. That's just one of many ways it could go. I seriously think he's just a very valuable bullpen arm right now, and also it means they could take advantage of him sooner rather than later.
His upside, too, of at least Lambert. Crochet, I think it's such a huge question mark. I'm not sure what they're going to do. We'll see. I mean, that would be probably one of the big spring training questions for Rick Hahn. But Jimmy Lambert, the big thing that he gained from moving from a starter to the bullpen was velocity.
Yes.
His four-seamer gained about 3 miles per hour of velocity just when he was moved to that. So being stretched out and going for longer, his effectiveness is probably limited. I don't think that there's a point when you see that Davis Martin has that ability to go 5 innings, and he had a little bit of an iffy start in the first innings of his starts, but the second through fifth inning, he was pretty golden. I just think that I'd rather Martin or even Jesse Schultens. This is a guy that we haven't brought up yet. I can't find his pitch mix. He's a right-hander, has been with San Diego his entire career, was drafted in the 9th round of 2016. Same area as Tony Gonsolin, apparently. 9th rounders, both of them. But he's made a ton of starts. 37 games last year, 15 starts, 2021, 21 games, 20 starts. He's pitched over 100 innings since 2016, I think it was. Only 83 innings last year. 83. But he ended up pitching 15 more innings in what's it called? International League this summer. So he eclipsed over 100 innings. I'm not sure what his pitch mix is, but he might be somebody who is completely under the radar. We're not really sure what he is. He's 28, so they can really afford to throw Jesse Schultens to the Wolves, and maybe he survives.
Where did he pitch at last year? Did he pitch in El Paso last year with the Chihuahuas?
Down in the West Texas town of El Paso.
If he's pitching that well down there in that league, he's definitely worth bringing up and seeing what he can do. And to get back to the point of Crochet and Jimmy Lambert, just like Eloy Jimenez, I don't begrudge the people who want to do what they want to do. Eloy wants to play the outfield. These guys want to eventually be starters. And that's probably what their mindset is. But it's always up to the general manager and all the baseball people and the manager to tell the guys, you know what? Sometimes your best option is to actually be in the bullpen. As you said, Jimmy Lambert gained 3 or 4 miles per hour on his fastball just because he knew, I don't have to have this for 6 innings. I just have to have this for 1 inning to get through these 3-4 batters that I'm facing, and then go to the dugout and rest. I think Jimmy Lambert's best option, just like Ronaldo Lopez, which he was a starter initially, is to be a dominant bullpen guy. You still get broke off. You'll still get paid eventually if you are a top bullpen guy. And I want the major league staff to say to Jimmy Lambert, hey, man, it's not bad for you to have these aspirations and dreams to be a starter, but on our team, you're not going to be a starter, especially you, Garrett Crochet. We cannot do it. As Vinny says, what you would have to do with Garrett Crochet is throw him down in the minors and get the innings in, because he has not pitched starters, rotation minutes, or pitches for at least 4 years. And so for him to get trained, he would have to do the same thing that Michael Kopech did in the 2020 or the 2021 season, where Michael Kopech was the reliever / spot starter.
But Michael Kopech had already had years of minor league experience being a starting pitcher. Garrett Crochet has none of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so for their best role for him would be bullpen. Hey, Garrett, we can't do it. If you want to be a starter, we'll have you down in the minors, but also that would hurt our major league club. Our best option, your best option, is to be a reliever on our starter, on our rotation, or on our team, and then we'll give you an opener or two to stretch you out 2-3 innings, but not as a starter here in the major leagues. If you want to be on this team, you got to be a reliever.
Well, and I know that it's a very tough situation with Liam Hendricks currently going through his treatment for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, but I do wonder the effects of that, because now I feel like that might push Reynaldo Lopez into that closer spot. Not entirely sure, but if it didn't, if Liam was fully healthy and he was there, I do wonder if they even think about Reynaldo Lopez. Like, I think his biggest issue really wasn't like, his fastball, losing zip or anything like that. It was he couldn't see.
Yeah.
So now having LASIK, I do wonder if Reynaldo would have had the ability to stretch out, but I feel like they probably want to keep him in the bullpen. So just very interesting the way that this is all going around, and we're trying to figure it all out.